Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Let me just get this straightened up there. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and check out these tea leaves. And I will say, I am recording during the day. Hallelujah. Usually I record late at night. Today, I am recording during the day. And so there might be different ambient sounds. I can't really help all of that. A lot of it's coming from outside and stuff. So, I will do my best to speak clearly and into the mic so you can hear me. All right, and so our card today is the universe. All right. This is an important card. This is kind of as the journey comes together. Things are kind of in their cosmic balance. And, as we know, no fixed states. Things are always moving. So this is definitely a card of movement. All right, let's see. We have, and I have to point this out first because if you read our comments on here, we talk a lot about squirrels. I love squirrels. We have a squirrel right here. And this makes sense to me, especially if you are in the northern hemisphere right now. We are going into fall, autumn, and if you live in a place that has trees with nuts, or well, any kind of trees really, there are a lot of squirrels out. They are working hard. They're getting ready for their winter. We happen to have quite a few walnut trees around, so they are definitely on doing overtime right now. Everywhere you look, there are squirrels hiding nuts. I find them in the most hilarious places, I have to say. They like to just kind of set them on my patio chairs. They'll lodge them right behind, like a pot. Not in the dirt, just kind of stick it right behind. So they're working hard. And I feel like this is not unlike you, Sagittarius. You are, getting your ducks in a row. You are kind of squirreling away some of the resources that you might need in the future here. This might be financial. This might be health related. And what does that mean? So I think of being very wellness focused, okay? Maybe doing intentional movement, going to the doctor, getting your checkups, just making sure that you're feeling as well as you can, staying on top of things. To me, this is kind of making that investment in your future as far as your flesh suit goes. This could also be emotional resources, okay? Working on things, doing that interior work, just making sure that you have the tools and resources that you need if and when something difficult comes up. We know in life there are always going to be things that take us by surprise. Okay, I am of the mind that we are ever students or at least we should remain so. And part of our overall education should be in, you know, mental health, mindfulness, different techniques that help you kind of, you know, whatever your focus is, if it is kind of like reducing stress and anxiety, working through trauma, you know, finding better ways to communicate your emotions, whatever it is. I mean, there's so many things. And the beautiful thing about this lovely universe that we live in, there are always new modalities being created, right? And so lots of things to continue to learn, to look into. I'm not a huge like self-help person as far as like going out and reading a ton of books or whatever, but I do dabble because it leads me to different schools of thought, different kinds of philosophies, and psychotherapy and things like this. And if you have watched my videos before, you know I'm really into the Jungian flavor, right? So always kind of looking for new inspiration to continue my self-education. And I feel like this is definitely partly where you're at as well. I think this has been a big year of self-work for you, Sagittarius. As we've talked about in other videos, other readings, you have really gotten to that point where you are going to take up for yourself. You are going to build those boundaries firmly, right? You're not putting up with anything from anybody anymore. And, you know, advocating for the things that you want and need in your life. And I think that is quite a big step in life. I mean, you know, it's not easy, especially if you didn't start from a very confident place. I know in my own life, I slowly, in my early 30s, started to find some more confidence. But when I think really spent a few years by myself, really, you know, I had reduced my socializing, reduced the stimuli in my life, and really focused on things that I found interesting, kind of developed more of my own personality just by, you know, finding stuff I like to do and engaging in it, seeing where I found happiness and pleasure and what made me sad, what was triggering to me, you know, and not feeling ashamed about that. There was nobody to put, you know, to put on airs for because I was alone. And, you know, we all, I think, go through, or at least we have the opportunities to go through these kinds of phases in our life if we so choose. A lot of people say it is in your 30s. So now as I near my 40s, you know, I feel like I've really come into a confident place, and that is beautiful. And I think that this is not unlike the journey that you have had this last year. I see here we have a deer kind of laying beneath a tree, okay? And I feel that your soul, for the first time, maybe a long time, has felt truly nourished, truly rested. If you can think about going through your days worrying about, oh, what did so-and-so think about what I said at work? You know, did I say that wrong? Maybe they're going to think that I'm, you know, not intelligent, or maybe, you know, I'm careless or whatever. And then you're thinking about, oh, my, you know, sister-in-law said this to me and that really hurt my feelings. And, you know, if I say anything back, it's going to cause problems. And just, okay, these are just examples, wild examples, right? But the time and energy we put into thinking about this stuff multiple times a day, every day, it adds up, doesn't it? And I think before we really start to decide, hey, I'm not giving people, what do they say? Letting people live rent-free in my mind. That's the recovery thing. People say that in recovery a lot. And that, there's a lot of shame when you're beginning recovery, right? And for me, it was substance abuse. I'm in recovery, if you don't know. Part of, going through the steps of recovery, particularly in 12-step, is confronting some of the shame, really making an inventory for yourself, and then making amends. And then through that process, we begin to absolve ourselves. We begin to, find room for things that we do like, things that are healthy, things to fill our time with, things that make us feel good about ourselves. For me, I started cooking. That was a big thing. I'm a pretty decent cook now after the last, almost 10 years of teaching myself how to cook. And, just stuff like that. You gain confidence. And then you get to a point around where you're at, I think, starting to really just decide, no, I don't think I'm going to put up with this kind of behavior in my life. I absolutely will not be spoken to this way, when somebody is putting you down, being unnecessarily critical, cussing you, whatever it is. We find that confidence and we decide, no more, right? Also, we're not going to worry about other people's opinions of us unless it's something that we really do need to work on, of course. Sometimes, I will be short with my daughter and I will, I'm saying, hurry up, get your shoes on, let's go. We got to get out the door, as parents we do. And I've interrupted her while she's playing or whatever. And I'm, quick and patient, and she says, Mom, I don't like you talking to me like that. And I realize this is this is something she's showing me her boundary, and I see where I have to kind of be more mindful. I need to slow my roll a little bit, bring it back in and think, I shouldn't talk to somebody like this. That's my bad, my fault. I'm going to change what I'm doing in this moment. And so I think, especially because you have worked on those boundaries, that's the big thing I've seen in these readings for you, Sagittarius. There is a feeling of being able to just kind of relax. Yeah. Spend some time doing whatever it is that sings to your heart, right? Calls for you. I think of a beautiful deer on a nice sunny afternoon. It's been up doing its thing, eating, kind of standing in the fields, wherever it's at, in the meadow, eating, getting in some sun. Well, now it's time to take a little bit of a break beneath this tree. Right? And if you can imagine the light coming through the trees and the wind is blowing, the grass is going along with it, and we have a nice time to just sit, kind of close our eyes a little bit and breathe. Enjoy that quiet, that moment of serenity. Okay? And I think big vibes here. And wonderful for you. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Oh, yes, we have this lovely, let's go back a little bit. We have this lovely little bird here, kind of sitting on maybe a branch and just kind of taking it on. We also have our squirrel looking up at this bird. And I think that this bird really is kind of, you know, a sign of the watcher, you know, the spirit flowing through your life, being perceptive, seeing where you're at, responding to you. Okay, I think things are really coming together. You know, often we'll say the bird is kind of a sign of somebody visiting. Usually for me, it's the cardinals, the blue jays, these kinds of birds. This one looks more, it reminds me of kind of a little bit of a chunky magpie, maybe. Some kind of smaller blackbird, maybe not a crow or a raven, but a smaller blackbird. And these birds, they are hyper intelligent, so smart. They often are in groups as well. They can be a bit aggressive, but I think when they come through, I always think, and they can be annoying. I mean, we don't have magpies where I live here, but where I grew up, we had a lot of magpies, and they were loud. But whenever I heard them before they would migrate through, it made me really feel like there was a true balance to the environment I was in. Now, I've been to places where there were not a lot of animals. Rarely would you see a bird, you know. And there's something about that quiet desolation that is off-putting. And so when you have these big groupings of birds, or you have a bird that comes and visits you, you acknowledge it, it acknowledges you. There's a sense of perfection, I think. There's an acknowledgement of perfection, of spirit being in all things, all the things, right? Showing itself to you, if even for a small moment, okay? And I feel like you are very receptive to this right now. Things feel quite holy, quite spiritual, okay? And I think that that is a beautiful, lovely feeling. Make use of it. Make some art. Write something. Get something done that you want to do. Go somewhere. Get in your car and drive somewhere. You know, get on your bike. Go for a bike ride. Walk. Whatever it is. Just get out in the world, even if it's for a half an hour. And just go look at some things. Go be among something that feels so much greater. Okay? I know sometimes we get so busy, we forget how important it is to just kind of break away from our little routines. Here's another example of where I'm finding this really useful. My daughter, she's going to school for the first time. She still has anxiety, especially separation anxiety. And I have found that if we get out of the house early and we take a nice walk, go look at some stuff, go notice what we can see in the neighborhood, at the park, whatever it is, before she goes off to school, she is so much looser, happier, excited about things, because she's not all, you know, kind of rigid and looking at a screen or stuck in the house or whatever. There's an openness, a connective feeling to everything around. It's easier to transition from one thing to the next when you're not feeling all bunched up. Okay, so I think definitely getting out there and celebrating this feeling, this open heart that you have right now. Okay, and And I want to look at this one. We have a dragon. Okay, you have a bit of a dragon in your life, and I think that for some reason I feel like this represents a female family member. We also have, I think they're called marlin, a large fish, like a swordfish, representing a male figure in your family. Okay, I almost wonder, is this mom, dad? You know, or is it maybe like sister, brother, something? There seems to be some kind of pairing here. And I feel like you're going to have some time with them. They have very strong and bold energy, but I also think, I'm looking at this, this is not like a dragon that looks like it's on the attack. It looks kind of like a fluffy, happy, nice dragon. So I get the sense that this is somebody who is very protective of your family and of you. You have a fairly good relationship, I imagine. So that this is not going to be kind of a negative coming together, or you know, you're not lamenting having to see them. But they have big personalities. And now with the fish, I feel like maybe somebody who has a little bit of wealth, maybe, resources. They have a lot to talk about, maybe in financial matters. We all have those family members that have all the ideas. They're maybe talking about crypto or how to invest, or, you know, whatever. And so, you know, I think that you kind of get a kick out of being with your family members, and they're interesting. They maybe don't always, you know, discuss the things that you're super interested in, but I think that there's a fairly, you know, happy relationship there. And so I see you kind of going and being with them. I don't know what's going on, but it does feel like this is going to be something more lighthearted. Maybe some kind of brunch, or, you know, family lunch or something like that. And I hope that you enjoy it. You know, I think that you have a lot of good energy to bring to the bunch here. Okay, let's see. We have, now this one right here looks like a person who is holding, and I feel like they, I mean, this maybe is my mind goes to gardening often, but I feel like harvesting or planting. If you are in the southern hemisphere, then you maybe are planting your garden, or you already have, maybe you were tending to it. But we have a heart, we have a heart, oops, we have a heart up here, we have a heart up here. Really, I think just this feeling of whatever you have been working on, whatever you are growing, doesn't have to be literal. This could be growing a business, growing a relationship, whatever it is, growing a new routine, whatever it is going well. And this is adding to this beautiful place you are in. It's just, it's a wonderful feeling. Kind of just like you've gotten all your things done early. You have some beautiful, happy, energetic time. There's not a lot of anxiety. The possibilities are open for you. That kind of day. That's how I feel like you're just going through life right now. A lot of excitement, maybe a little bit of excitement. I don't know, but it's not any kind of melancholy. I know that is what's missing. So, yeah, it seems like a lot of good news here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to look at the lightness of being affirmation cards. Okay, and this is the earth element. And these are, I just like to kind of pick one through here at random and see what it has to add to our reading. Sometimes I get stuck because I don't know how they connect, but I feel like we're going to find a good one today. Okay, so we have, it looks like a fairy with an owl. So again, with the watcher. And it says, truth trust. Your patience will bring delightful surprises. Never put yourself down. I don't feel like you're in a place where you would put yourself down. I feel like you are feeling pretty good. We talked about that confidence. I really think that you are, feeling, not to the point where you're delusional, right? You're always right. Everything you do is right. I don't feel like that's the vibe at all. But I think that you're feeling confident in your decision making, confident in the things that you do and have done. And where you make mistakes, these are places to learn from. Okay, and that's a really developed, I think, kind of configuration for anybody. So, good for you, Sagittarius. I love it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and say thank you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm, and the algorithm really kind of decides everything about everything these days. So we like to make it happy with engagement, and that can be anything like liking the video, sharing the video on other social media platforms, watching the readings from the beginning to the end. Other than that, if you have not subscribed, please think of that. Please think about doing that. If you do subscribe, you can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you want to leave a comment, I love hearing from each and every one of you. I read all the comments. I try to reply back as soon as I can. I do reply back to all of them. So it might take a day or two, but I do promise you I will get in there and I will have something to say. All right, Sagittarius. I'm so excited to be reading during the day. The nice thing about night is that it is so quiet, and I feel like as I'm getting closer to the sleepy place, I am kind of traveling the cosmos in my mind's eye a bit. So that is helpful, but I also really like doing it during the day because I feel like I have a lot of love in my heart before I'm too worn out. So, okay. We'll talk in just a few days here. Thank you.